a lot of happy people.
Donald Trump signs an executive order to stop the separation of children from their parents at the United States border. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announced that Canada will officially become the second nation to legalize marijuana. Cyclists filled the streets of downtown Toronto Wednesday to protest for bike safety. Humber News starts now.
I'm Chanel Sethi, here at the newsroom at Humber's North Campus. It's Thursday, June 21st. Here's what's making news. Mexican families crossing the U.S. border will be staying together after President Donald Trump signed an executive order yesterday to end family separation.
We're going to keep families together, but the border is going to be just as tough as it's been.
The order comes after the Trump administration established a zero-tolerance policy in May against migrants crossing the U.S.-Mexico border. Many protested the policy, and Prime Minister Justin Trudeau voiced concerns after initially saying he doesn't want to play politics.
Is wrong. I can't imagine what the families living through this are enduring. Obviously, this is not the way we do things in Canada.
People are already helping parents and children get released from detention centers. Mexican charity director Norma P. Main says that it isn't enough.
It's good. I don't think that is the only answer that we need. We need to help these families find a solution, a humane solution. You know, detention is not an answer.
The fate of over 2,000 detained children is still unknown. Days after U.S. President Donald Trump threatened tariffs on Chinese imports, China's Commerce Ministry is accusing the United States of being capricious over bilateral trade issues. In a press conference today, the ministry said that this impulsive behavior will not help to solve trade disputes between the two countries. Ministry spokesman Gao Feng said this Trump's announcement ruffled trade negotiations between U.S. and China. China's stance on the negotiations has been consistent and clear throughout. He warned that the interests of U.S. workers and farmers will be hurt by Washington's unilateralist measures. The spokesperson added that the U.S. deed of wielding a big stick of protectionism to exert pressure to the limit and exhort is unpopular. Trump's announcement has put talks about the manufacturing and service sector on hold. Meanwhile, back at home, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has about second thoughts about Trump actually imposing tariffs on automobiles.
I have a hard time accepting that any leader might do the kind of damage to his own auto industry that would happen if he were to bring in such a tariff on Canadian auto manufacturers, given the integration of the parts supply chain, of the auto supply chains through the Canada-U.S. border.
Justin Trudeau has made it official. October 17th will be the date set for legalization of recreational marijuana. Trudeau made the announcement on Wednesday, and Canada's Governor General Julie Payette is expected to sign the bill today. Legalizing the recreational use of marijuana was a major part of Trudeau's successful 2015 election campaign. After Wednesday's announcement, marijuana stocks skyrocketed as Canada will become the first major economy to legalize marijuana for recreational use.
Of our kids and keeps profits away from organized crime. Today, I'm also pleased to announce that the new recreational cannabis regime will officially come into force on October 17th of this year.
Yasuke Hayahara was killed on Yonge and Bloor subway track Monday morning after allegedly being pushed. John Resnick has been charged with first-degree murder. The TTC incident has left many riders with questions about safety. Caitlin Clancy has the story.
After 73-year-old Yasuke Hayahara was pushed to his death at the Bloor-Yonge subway station earlier this week, commuters are now worried for their own safety.
Well, definitely after what happened like a couple days ago, I'm a little bit concerned. I'm always watching my back.
If we were able to have railings that can go up and down or something, different things like that, or make the line wider, so it encourages people to stand farther back.
Yeah, maybe little fences, and then you can open up to the doors, and then that's it.
Lots more security.
Following the murder Monday morning on the subway, riders are voicing their concerns for a lack of safety on the platforms. As of right now, the TTC are reviewing implementing such safety precautions as platform edge doors, but it will be a few years before we see these changes be implemented. Caitlin Clancy, Humber News.
Hundreds of people gathered at Matt Cohen Park in Toronto to pay tribute to the cyclist who was killed when a truck swerved into a downtown bike lane. Harman Singh reports.
We're going to start lining up in a few minutes. We're going to line up.
About 200 cyclists gathered downtown at rush hour to pay tribute to 58-year-old Dalia Shako, who died on June 12 after being hit by a flatbed truck while she was riding her bike in a painted bike lane near her home. Cyclists from around the city were joined by Shako's son, Skylar Bromans, and his wife.
The main message I want to pass along here is pay it forward. There's been so much kindness expressed to me, my family. My mom would be honored to see this. She'd be shocked. You know, we're new to the city. She was very new to the city. I've been here twice in my life. So to see as many people come out and support this, it's really nice to see.
In addition to paying their respect, many who were strangers to Shako are here also to demand safe streets.
People have come who didn't know her. I didn't know her. I identify with her. I'm also in my 50s. I also ride my bike everywhere. I go to work, I go shopping, I go visit friends on my bicycle. So I really identify with her and think also it could have been me or it could have been any of my friends. So to come together and to show that we care about our city and we want it to be safer.
Elsie Nisonam said she used to ride all the time, but it's too dangerous now.
Aggressive drivers, close calls, not enough bike lanes. Just it's an entirely unpleasant experience.
This is the third ghost bike ride gathering in just recent weeks. On this day, they ring their bell as they head to the spot where Shako was killed. They are calling for the better enforcement of law and money and commitment to make the streets of Toronto safer. Harman Singh, Humber News.
More than 800 officers across the GTA were part of an early morning raid targeting an alleged criminal organization. More than 50 search warrants were executed at 5 a.m. Thursday morning by Toronto Police alongside Peel, York, and Durham Regional Police Departments. The operation, dubbed Project Baton, took 9 months of planning. Police made multiple arrests during these raids and even located a meth lab. Toronto Police Chief Mark Saunders provided more details to the media in a press conference following the morning raids.
Random arrests. This was very focal, and it was through the investigative efforts of some tremendous resources that our agency has that has associated them to this organization specific. Benefited so that when we do have situations like these types of investigations where we're taking down a large organization, the ability of pulling other resources in and utilizing them operationally has improved significantly. And when we look at all of these apprehensions that have taken place, all of these search warrants that have taken place with very low use of force utilized, I think that's a good statement to policing, its training, its collaborative thoughts.
The World Cup isn't just about what's happening on the field. It's also about the cultural moments happening off the field, especially for women. For 38 years in Iran, women have been banned from watching men's sporting events. But yesterday, they were allowed to watch a live broadcast of Iran's World Cup match against Spain, taking place in Russia.
Cool. I really enjoyed the game. I wish everyone be able to go to a stadium in Iran.
Rights are being respected even more. We need to keep improving and we need to keep changing the situation, but I'm really happy for them because I love soccer.
Es un ambiente soñado para cualquier.
While an victory for Iranian women yesterday, other women at the World Cup are still looking for respect. Colombian reporter Julia Gonzalez-Theron was in Moscow when a man sexually harassed her on air. She later addressed the incident on Instagram, saying, "We do not deserve this treatment. We are equally valuable and professional." And Russia's Burger King is under fire after releasing a campaign that promised women who were impregnated by World Cup team players $47,000 and free Whoppers for life. The advertisement added that by gaining the genes of the world's best soccer players, women would increase the success of generations to come in Russia. The ad has now been taken down and Burger King issued an apology saying that it was too offensive. Ontario winemaker Norman Hardy faces a series of sexual harassment allegations this week. Hardy released an apology statement Wednesday morning following over 50 claims of sexual misconduct made against him. In a page-long letter, the winemaker detailed how sorry he is and that some of the allegations made against him are not true, but many are. A number of restaurants across the country have quickly made the move to pull Hardy's wine from their menus, and many others are predicted to follow suit. The fate of Hardy and his wines are uncertain, but no charges have been laid at this time. Humber College raised pride and trans flags at Lakeshore campus as Toronto prepares for Pride Parade this weekend. Catherine Koshi has the story.
Humber College raised the trans and pride flags at Lakeshore campus as the City of Toronto is celebrating Pride Month. The speakers at the event highlighted the importance of Indigenous and queer identities and the need to hold space for all of the intersections. Laurie Didick, Vice President of Human Resources and Organizational Effectiveness, said Humber College strives to build an atmosphere of equity, diversity, and inclusion.
At Humber College, we pride ourselves in providing a place for our community of students, staff, and faculty to live, work, and play in an atmosphere of equity, diversity, and inclusion.
People gathered in front of the Welcome Center and expressed their support. The flag raising was followed by a display of pride reception. Artists from the trans community told their stories of acceptance in the community through their performances where they recited poems and danced to music. The organizers feel it is very important to create awareness about equity and inclusion in post-secondary institutions.
We have so many different students coming from everywhere, and there's bound to be people from that are LGBTQ+, and it's good for students to know that they're going to be accepted here and they're free to be their full potential.
The artist said there has been an increased acceptance over the years, but it needs to get better.
Sometimes it's hard to feel directly, individually, but maybe in a larger kind of level. And I think the question is who actually gets affected by the change, and then who are the people and identities that get forgotten or left behind while things progress.
Humber raised the pride flag today at Lakeshore campus, and they raised the trans flag along with it for the first time. The flags are going to be up for one whole week, and Humber will be participating in the Toronto Pride Parade on Sunday. Catherine Koshi, Humber News.
Today is National Indigenous Peoples Day, and events coinciding with the summer solstice are being celebrated across the country. National Indigenous Peoples Day, renamed last year to replace National Aboriginal Day, is an opportunity to explore and celebrate First Nations, Inuit, and Métis culture in Canada. The popular Toronto sign in Nathan Phillips Square is embracing this day by having a vinyl wrap cover on the outside of the letters of the Toronto sign, while a medicine wheel has been replaced to the signs next to the sign's T. The medicine wheel symbolizes Indigenous cultural values, tradition, and spirituality. The 4 directions on the wheel symbolize completeness, wholeness, connectedness, and strength. The sign will remain up during Canada's Day weekend. It's June 21st, which means the summer solstice is finally here. For some of us, it's just a regular Thursday, but others spent their day at just one of the most beautiful landmarks in the world. A crowd of hundreds attended Stonehenge to watch the sunrise early this morning. The summer solstice is the longest day of the year and marks the beginning of summer. Although this year's celebration hosted fewer people than years past, participants showed their devotion to the solstice. People who gather perform folk music, religious rituals, and dance to celebrate the occasion. We're going to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll have the latest in the World Cup, and Taz will have your 3-day forecast.
Stay tuned, we've got some more sports and weather updates for you in a bit. Not only is it a beautiful and sunny day outside, but it's also the first day of summer solstice. Stay tuned for more.